Hi, Speedster Johnny here. Welcome to my channel. As you've seen, the title of this video is So You Want to Buy a Spyder. I was in that position a little over 2 years ago. I've got a lot of experience riding two-wheeled motorcycles. Several Harley-Davidsons, a couple of Buells, a couple of Yamahas. But I kind of gave it all up a dozen or so years ago to get into the car hobby. Well, it ran its course, and after 12 years, I decided I would sell the car, and I thought I'd like to get back into riding motorcycles again. So I went to Harley-Davidson, which is what I knew best. Couldn't buy another Buell because they don't make them anymore. So I wound up purchasing a 2016 Harley-Davidson Sportster. The model was XL883L, the one they call the Super Low. Well, after I brought it home, it didn't take me very long to realize that the years had taken their toll on me, and some of it had to do with strength, but more of it had to do with balance. I really didn't feel comfortable on two wheels anymore. I gave it up. So I decided to look for a trike. The first thing that came to mind, of course, was a Harley trike. And I thought about the Freewheeler, which is their most basic model, but still at a almost $27,000 entry cost. That seemed to be kind of a lot of money, much less as for a Tri-Glide where they get up well into the 30s and maybe even 40s, more than I wanted to spend on a toy. So I thought about a Am Spyder. I visited a dealership about 25 miles from my home, and the salesperson was very aggressively trying to sell a model that he happened to have on the floor. Well, we didn't talk much about other models that might have been in the inventory besides this one leftover from the previous year. But the real deal breaker for me was I was told outright that they wouldn't take a Harley-Davidson in trade. I asked why, and they said, well, because if you want to buy a Harley-Davidson, why would you come here? Hello? Did you ever hear of the internet? People can type in on a search engine whatever it is that they're looking for and probably find out that there's something maybe even fairly close to where they live that meets their specifications, nearly or maybe even exactly. Apparently that had slipped by this person. So I went to another dealership after first confirming that they definitely did take Harleys in trade. So the day I rode in on the Harley, I rode out on a Am Spyder F3, the model that I ride now, and I'm very happy with it. I didn't really take a bath on the trade-in, but maybe a slight shower. Anyway, on my third season now, really happy, great performing machine, and I'm very fond of it. Learning to ride it was a bit of a transition. It's a learning curve, but it's not a steep one. And I'm sure most people could handle it without much difficulty at all. So, enough said. Why don't we get out on the road and see what that little guy can do? Thanks so much for watching. Well, have I helped you or confused you? Feel free to drop a comment down below if you have a particular question. I know there are people out there that are thinking about going to three wheels for whatever reason. It's a great way to stay in the wind, as I say over and over again. I sure am enjoying it. Not to mention being out in the wind on a beautiful day like today. Unfortunately, it's once again in the high 80s. Fall really hasn't moved in yet, so you just have to make do with what we have. I'm wearing my Bohn Armor shirt, which is a a mesh, as you can see, and it's gives you some protection at the shoulders, elbows, and back. And of course, I'm wearing gloves. If it's not all gear all the time, it's certainly close to it. I try to be as safe as I can. The temptation on a day like today, believe me, is very strong to go in a t-shirt and get a little sun, maybe too much sun, who knows. Most of the bikers I go by are dressed that way, but I think they're kind of asking for trouble when they do that. Nobody wants to fall. Nobody goes out with the idea that they're going to, but it can happen, and it can happen really fast. Something sudden that happens, or some object or debris in the road, you know, like a chunk of old tire carcass, or some fine gravel or sand, or a wet spot, or those horrible tar snakes, which can be downright deadly. Never experienced that yet myself, but I understand that it's something you really need to watch for. I'm still having a good time. And just try to take in the beauty of what I'm seeing. The blue sky and the beautiful white clouds and people driving faster than me. That's okay. I'm not in a hurry. I'll get there when I get there. And the journey is the best part. The destination, well, you want to get there, but just being out there and riding is the best part of all. Anybody that's a rider knows that. We're moving into a rainier period as we get closer to fall, and picking the right day to ride is a little more difficult because you have to kind of work around the rainstorms. What's that noise? Some kind of an alert? I don't see anything on the panel. Is it my phone? Not sure. Try to be alert for sights and sounds, like that guy that might not stop. Talking recently with someone who's saying that when you're out on a motorcycle, and this is something I had learned for myself years ago, you have to think of yourself as being pretty much invisible, that nobody can see you, or taking a more dramatic tone, like everybody is out there to kill you. I don't want to dwell on that too much because it kind of takes the fun out of the ride. Thought I was going fast enough, but not for that guy. Maybe I've forgotten what it's like to be in the workaday world, seeing that I've been out of it for so long. I've forgotten how great it is not to have to be in a hurry to get anywhere. Be that as it may. I've noticed that when the newer people move into the village, the more freshly retired folks, as I think of them, that they haven't really gotten out of workaday mode. And they're always in a hurry, whether it's driving through the neighborhood or driving out on 444, which is the linkage to all the little neighborhoods in my village. Ooh, what's going on here? A little bit of construction, I guess. Back when I was living in the greater Chicagoland area, there was 2 seasons. There was winter and road construction. Well, if there's an analog here, I guess this must be the road construction season. It wouldn't be much fun to hit one of those barrels by accident, would it? Or the concrete barrier, especially. Well, anyway. Didn't slow me up much. Still a great ride. Sure, I'm enjoying myself. Now, please remember that if you're contemplating buying a Spyder, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. And feel free to ask any questions you might have. I'm having a great time, and I think you would too. But in the meantime, Speedster Johnny is signing off.